All right. Cool. I think we're alive. I'm hoping we're alive. Hey everyone, FusedVR coming at ya. And today, coming back on, talking about the VR AR news of the week. And yeah, really excited for the stream today. Lots of stuff going on, as always. There's always a busy week in VR land. So super excited to be here. Trying out a little new format as far as putting the live stream up here. So I'll be able to actually see what you guys are saying. So yeah, let's just kind of dive into it. So for starters, like I always do, wanted to talk about kind of where we are tutorial-wise. As you can see, there's always a ton. And yeah, also I should mention that all the links are down in the description. If you want to get to the waffle page or anything like that, definitely go ahead and yeah, you can just quickly and easily really add an issue. Hassan is actually working on this Gear VR tutorial. This is going to be on, let me just change this, Gear VR plus teleportation. So just having like a little Bezier curve that allows you to easily kind of navigate with the Gear VR controller. He's getting super stoked about that because of something else. So that's your little hint there. And yeah, that controller, and that's kind of what's coming up next. So that shall hopefully move over to the done pile. And I'm in the process of just kind of wrapping up our cardboard AR and Star Wars breakdown. So those are kind of the videos that are coming down the pipe. And if you checked out our Instagram, and let me move that there, I can't pull up stories right now here, but if you check out our stories, I try to put out little hints of stuff that I'm working on. So one of the things that I'm working on is our IBM Watson. That was something, I believe, from 2 streams ago that people really wanted to see. So I'm going to be working on that. You can see here it's down in the video requests, and slowly should be moving towards in progress sometime soon. Really excited about that one because I think there's just so much untapped potential there. And I can't wait to see what you guys all build with that. So that's just a little kind of heads up on where we are. Lots of content coming forward. And again, as always, if you want to go ahead and add something that you want to see happen on the YouTube channel, definitely go ahead, click add issue here. I believe this one here was requested by, and I can actually go check because I didn't add it. No, let's not go to GitHub. Just go to comments by Jehan. So anyone can go ahead. You just need a GitHub account to go ahead and do that. So that's just kind of where we are. Hey, what up, Stone Fox? Oh, there are a lot of people in the chat. Super awesome. Love doing these. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. And while I'm talking about this, make sure go ahead, put any comments, questions that you guys have. Love chatting with you. Got the next half hour to just kind of dive into all the stuff that's happening in the VR AR space. So starters, yeah, good old Magic Leap making headlines again. So they've raised $461 million, which, surprise, I mean, I feel like they're close to $3 billion. I don't know if they have like the total, yeah, 2.3 billion in funding. I don't think they realize that the more money that they keep asking for, the more our expectations rise. And I'm pretty sure that they are not going to meet them by any means whatsoever. I mean, that's really all I have to say about this. Clearly, they needed the money, which is why they raised it. But I don't even know if developers, I guess developers wouldn't be able to tell us, but I don't think developers actually have their hands on these. And if that's the case, that's really worrisome. I have my fingers crossed as far as what will happen with Magic Leap, but my expectations were already low to begin with. I think Ghoster in the chat already he had his expectations even lower than I did. And they kind of keep going lower and lower as Magic Leap raises more and more money. So we'll see how that actually ends up playing out. But I'm not super optimistic, even though I kind of want to be. All right, next up here, this is kind of an interesting headline nonetheless, is YouTube is adding an AR green screen effect to its story feature. So, I mean, yes, we're on YouTube. I don't think I'm going to have access to this anytime soon, which is kind of why I'm using Instagram right now for story-like features. But I guess YouTube is getting stories because that's the hip new thing that's happening in social media land. And they're kind of dubbing it these kind of AR effects, basically I guess cropping you out from the background, which is kind of really cool tech. But I mean, like I said, I'm not going to have access to this anytime soon. But I think it kind of goes to show that Google/YouTube are clearly still and will be focused on AR and VR for a long time. So you're going to start to see kind of cool effects like this pop into platforms like YouTube. So I'm really stoked for this. My guess is this will probably come in 2019 as like something for smaller YouTubers like us, but still eventually will come down the pipe, and I'm super stoked for that. Next up, I want to talk about GDC, and the next two ones are about GDC. So first off, my friend Suzanne Liebrich, she's huge in the Bay Area. If you haven't, definitely go check her out on Twitter. Again, links to these are in the description. She got this really awesome thread about things to do when you're at GDC. So let me know in the chat if you guys are at GDC at all. I won't be at the conference, but I'll definitely be around the area at some of the after parties and whatnot. So if you're up there, would love to check you out and see what's happening with all of you guys. That's part of the thing about community building, is that there's just so much to talk about with you guys, and I really want to do that if you're around in the Bay Area for GDC. So some things she put out: survival kits, safety, networking, a lot of really cool things to talk about there, and just kind of things to do, places, people to meet. And if this is your first time at GDC, definitely would recommend checking out this thread just to see some of the things that she recommends, because there's definitely a lot here, as you can see scrolling down this list of things, which is super, super awesome. And also, speaking of GDC, is Google's kind of developer day. I guess this is their pre-Google I/O event, which I think is super interesting. And what's the name? I believe it's Nathan Martz. He's going to be talking and kind of just giving the keynote on it. So yeah, I think there'll be something interesting to watch. My predictions here, I don't think this article goes into predictions per se. You have AR Core. You might have their standalone headset being announced, would be my guess. I could be completely wrong here. That might also come at I/O. This is kind of a little weird compared to what they usually do. What else? I also want to pick your guys' brains as far as what you think will be happening at I/O. Let's see. I can't really think of anything else. Maybe that YouTube stories comes out to more people. Kind of a weird thing to mention at I/O. And maybe they're following the Facebook and Snapchat trend of putting out their own Unity clone. That could also happen, which I think would be interesting, but pretty unlikely. Definitely a few different ideas, but I'll get to it in the chat to see what you guys think. And then the last thing I want to mention before I dive into the chat questions is the Oculus Runtime thing, which I'm sure all of you guys have at least seen at some point. Huge fail. But I actually wanted to flip this and take a look at it in a more positive light. And yes, no, I can trash on Oculus all day about having this closed garden, and I've trashed on them a lot in the past. But there is a silver lining to this, and is looking at the number of posts that have actually gone into this thread. Think about that. What that means that so many people care about the VR and AR ecosystem that they're willing to trash on Oculus. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a good thing for VR and AR as a whole, for people to actually care about the technology and push it forward. So it's really super awesome. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell how many actual people posted, but nevertheless, there were enough people here to really bring up this issue, to get the media behind it, to get people behind it. And if we estimate that, let's see, there's 70 posts, and I don't know how many posts you can get on one page. Let's call it 20. So you've got, I don't want to do math right now, I suck at math. But you've got quite a large number of people, and probably some percentage of them are duplicates, but you've got easily 1,000 plus people complaining. And I think it just goes to show that people are using their headsets. They're willing to complain because they want to use VR, and it's, as much as people are saying it's dead, blah 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 blah, I think this is kind of a testament to the fact that people do care, people are using it, and they want to see the hardware perform at the best capability. So that's kind of, I don't think many people have mentioned that, and I think it's the interesting twist that you can take to this story. It's not so much about the positive side of Oculus as much as it is about the positive side of the VR AR ecosystem as a whole, which I think is just something that I want you guys to kind of put in your guys' head as far as this kind of whole kind of thing about Oculus and all of the the shitstorm that it actually brought about. So let me go ahead, dive into the chat now. I think I've talked enough about the things that I wanted to talk about, and want to see what you guys think. So let me go ahead and scroll all the way up here. talked about topics. Let's see. Can you make low-cost VR? I guess that's Google Cardboard and the Cardboard AR headsets. I actually really like the Cardboard AR headsets. There's another video coming out on that in 2 weeks from now, so definitely check an eye out for that, but that's probably the lowest cost you're going to get. Designing an AR app for a family restaurant menu. That's really cool, Max. Definitely. That's actually something that Ghoster and I have talked about a little bit, is how to, something, especially on the Snapchat side of things, how you can make some kind of small little mini apps for restaurants. I think it's a really, really, really interesting idea that people would love to play around with. UK, that's true. Jawa, I know, I appreciate it, Jawa. Definitely a lot of excitement today, which I'm super stoked about. March 27th event from Houston. Can't wait to. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll be here, or at least me and Hassan will be at GDC, just kind of floating around a little bit. I'll probably spend the whole week in SF, just not at the conference because I don't have a ticket. But I think love to meet all of you guys. Were you flying over and had a parachute, but not? Actually, I guess Ghoster he did fly. Did you fly over London? I guess he did because he's in Montreal. So from Algeria to Montreal, man, probably not, but close. VR equipment in the lab, mentioned that. Oh, in a lab. I mean, I guess it kind of Pradeep. I guess it kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Probably would go. I think the cheapest you're gonna get, and you should probably wait for this whole Oculus thing to settle down, but would be a Rift and like a low-end PC would be the best experience you get at the cheapest budget. You could also try PSVR, although you can't really dev on it. So a couple options. Yeah, let me know again in the chat if there's like something specific you kind of want to see. Magic Leap to be a marketing company, first, and a fundraising company second. Maybe someday they'll get around to producing a product. I mean, you're not wrong, Ray. That's a good way of putting it. Although, I was talking to Dylan Shaw, who's another great guy in the Bay Area, about it. He put it, if you think about the Nintendo Labo as a comparison to Magic Leap, you've got the $70 piece of cardboard that people are so stoked about, and you've got Magic Leap on the other side that nobody knows about and is probably going to cost a lot. And everyone trashes on Magic Leap. No one really trashes, at least in the grand marketing scheme of Nintendo, no one really trashes on the Labo. And I think it's interesting because obviously Magic Leap's hardware is a lot more sophisticated compared to Labo, although there are some technical nuances with Labo. But you have one thing that's really well marketed in the sense of people are curious and potentially interested in buying the Labo. And the more people I talk to about Magic Leap, the less people I think are interested in the product, which I think is an interesting dichotomy that you have there. And as much as we can call them a marketing company, they're doing a pretty bad job in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what is actually going to happen when it comes out. But it's a very, there's a lot of interesting twists that you can put on Magic Leap. That is for sure. Yeah, that's a good point, Stone Fox. They don't. I mean, I know a couple people who are employees at Magic Leap, and obviously they won't tell me anything, which I would probably spill the beans at some point on one of these streams. But yeah, they're pretty well off. They're living life, excited working at Magic Leap on whatever they're working on, and having a good time. Let's see, buying Spore. I've all overhyped products. Spore's a good, depends on which Spore, but I had fun playing Spore when I was like, I guess 15. It was a short game, but it was kind of cute nonetheless. Leap into our money pit, agreed. Let's see, Unity 2018.1 release at the end of the month. Yeah, probably. I guess that's going to be timed with some of the events that they have going on at GDC. I'm really stoked for 2018, although I haven't gotten it yet because I usually don't get the betas. But I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening. My advice for GDC, follow people around, know the secret password. That's what we did when StoneFox came over for VRDC. We totally were just following people around for passwords. It was such a good time. And yeah, we got into random parties. You never know what you're going to find, but it's actually a pretty good tip if you're going to GDC. Awesome. So many people using VRTK. That's really, really cool. Oh yeah, and he mentions this from VRDC. We had a good time at VRDC. Let's see. Yeah, and then StoneFox bailed on me before I got into the Magic Leap party, but such is life. New HTC Vive Pro. I mean, I haven't tried it. I can't really say. I think it's a good step forward as far as tech goes. As far as, I guess, will people buy it? I mean, I think there are some valid issues as far as like, what is the price? When is it coming out? Is it supposed to be kind of competition to the Oculus Go? Is it to potentially the I totally blanked out on whatever Oculus's standalone 6-DoF prototype is. But yeah, I think there's a little uncertainty to see where that goes, but I think resolution is a step up. My only concern with the Vive Pro is whether or not like the mass stream developers are going to target that as like the default stando as opposed to the Vive, and if that's the case, what that means as far as usability on the Vives, specifically like performance-wise. So I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see. It's always backwards compatibility is always an issue. Ready Player One game. I'm stoked for that. I kind of wish I was at South by. I had a couple people ask me if I'm going to South by. So I really wish I was, but I'm super stoked for it. As much as it's kind of getting that like negative press right now, I think it's going to be super exciting to see how kind of the mass consumers will actually engage with Ready Player One. I'm stoked for that. Oh, okay, there we go. Ghoster always missing the Bay Area. Do we have a website? I don't know who the U is. We have a website. We honestly don't keep it. We honestly pay more attention to YouTube than our website. PixYZ to unlock CAD data. Unity partners. Let's see this. That's a good piece of news. Oh yeah, I saw this. I didn't actually read the article. I just saw the headline. Let's pull this guy up. I didn't. Let's see. Interactive real time. Yeah, there are so many people who use CAD which aren't really in the VR AR space, so it'd be super exciting to bring them in. That's for sure. Unity is definitely bringing up a lot of partnerships with people kind of outside of gaming, and I think that's going to be super interesting to see how that goes, and hopefully get more people money at the end of the day, right? If they're building apps for these things, hopefully they actually incentivize people to actually use it. So we'll see how that goes. These actually look pretty legit as far as how much data there is around these. And some virtual design review training. Nice. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Unity puts out like one crazy little piece of software every week, so that's super exciting to see. Nicholas, I like where your headset is. Got to keep a day job, but then got to have that VR hustle on the side. Love it. Wait. Oh yeah, I saw the Windows MR stuff. I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like someone asked me that last stream, and I genuinely don't know like what is gonna happen with those Windows VR. I'm gonna call it VR StoneFox because that's what it is. Those Windows VR headsets. It's like clearly doesn't have the adoption just yet, with 5% I think on the last Steam survey, but that could change maybe. Microsoft's definitely putting the marketing effort, I feel like, but kind of hard to see what their mindset is as far as making it a sustainable platform. I've talked to a couple guys from Microsoft, and I've honestly made it sound like it's kind of an experiment to them, which I don't really like now that I say that out loud, purely because I feel like it's changing the perception of a lot of people. But as far as especially stupid term mixed reality, I love the term mixed reality. I just hate that it gets abused. Um, that rant aside, I think yeah, it's tough to see what Microsoft's doing. That's for sure. Oh, it's about buying a computer. More VR tutorials. So I guess the IBM Watson one isn't gonna be one. We have the Gear VR one coming up. Cardboard AR. What else? Toyed around with the idea of a Daydream headset. I just need to buy it, honestly. And yeah, I mean, just like looking at this, you can see where our headspace is as far as stuff that we're planning to put out. But definitely, if there's stuff that you want to see put out, then for sure, just add it to the request, and I'll sort this as needed. But it's in my description. However, there's nothing new about the game yet. Oh, hold on. I think you got them. Got to the match when I got back to the hotel. Accurate. That is exactly what happened. Oh man. Yeah, and you were also there for like a really short time, so like the jet lag and like all of that stuff was very real. Kind of touches on the native. Oh, that's awesome. That's super cool. It's a pain because the SD. Oh, really? Huh. I believe it. I haven't really touched the native SDK. I know a couple of people have wanted me to. Um, it's just I have a tough time with the Windows VR headsets. I don't know why. Debbing on them for whatever reason. Like the first time I tried to do it, I actually got a little sim sick, which I was shocked by. I guess it was the tracking wasn't right. Maybe in my like work environment. I don't know. I was a little surprised by that, so that's one of the reasons why I'm like a little hesitant to do those Windows VR headsets. It could also be the Acer. I don't really know, but I know I should. Like that's a different issue. DK1 in Y2. Ed, what's the Y2 in Unity 2017? What up, Oz? Ghosting in the Acer headset makes me feel sick. Yeah, I think that's what there's something weird about the Acer headset. I'm not sure what it is. Oh man. Stone Fox, we definitely got to get you on one of these days just to do one of these. I know it's kind of late on your side, so maybe I got to push it up to get you on. But eventually, probably these have been kind of ad hoc. I'm having a lot of fun with the live streams, just chatting with you guys, seeing what's going on in the VR aerospace. So, oh, there we go. That's what it was. And 2 in Unity 2017. But yeah, it's only 11 p.m. here. That's true. Well, yeah, if it works for you. I've been doing them at 4, which is probably like 1 a.m. 4 p.m. Pacific. So I just have to keep it around 2:30ish, and I think we should be Gucci there. I'll definitely let you know. I'll start bringing on a couple people. Finally, kind of getting in the groove of like doing these a little more regularly, and they're just a ton of fun. Samsung Windows Mixed Reality. I need to try it, honestly. There is so many Windows VR headsets out there. But hold on, let me get back to Adrian's Oculus DK1 and 2 in Unity 2017. Did they remove that? I mean, it's not surprising. Like, no one's really talked about the DK1 and DK2 as much as I love those. That was like the good days of Oculus, in my opinion. Definitely love the DK1 and DK2 days. And honestly, I actually have a DK2, but not a Rift CV1, ironically. But kind of sucks that they got rid of. If that what you're saying is true, they got rid of support in 2017. Because that would suck. As much as it kind of makes sense for them to do that. Is that what this is? Oh, I think it's like one of the SDKs. Rough. I mean, I guess luckily you can use some of the older stuff, but you're not going to get the shader stuff, which is going to be so nice in 2018. Yeah, there's nothing much to do there. Oh, and Ray, this is probably the last comment I'm going to take for today. But yeah, it's too bad Google discontinued Project Tango. Seems like it would have been a natural fit for the Daydream headsets. They didn't like, in my opinion, the way I look at it is they just reorganized and killed off the Tango brand, which quite frankly, the Tango brand was more the hardware side. Google's really, it's just like the minus the Pixel, they're really more of a software company. That's where their talent is. And so moving, I think basically what they did is they killed off the hardware component of Tango, moved the talent into AR Core, and from there kind of growing the AR Core brand. So that might be some of the things that they mentioned at GDC, but Tango as like a whole hasn't really died. And to be honest, I was talking to someone at Unity. They told me that yeah, when we first got the code for AR Core, it was kind of a mess because a lot of the stuff from Tango was moved into AR Core. And honestly, I think in our first AR Core video, there was like a kind of little hint called Tango support. That's since been removed, but at that time, I think what was interesting was the fact that they kept it in. A lot of the code was from Tango. So at a super high level, the way I look at it is that Tango really hasn't died. It's just kind of been, it's kind of like the Phoenix. It just revived again as AR Core. So yeah, I expect some big things that will be coming out of Google, hopefully in the near future with maybe the Pixel 3 or something like that. All right, and way smart from the goat. Yeah, I agree, Oz. All right, I'm gonna end this here because honestly, I can talk about VR for an hour for days, and I kind of want this to be a video that people can watch down the road. But super fun talking with y'all, and yeah, definitely expect to do some of these more in the future, and I'll try to get some guests on because I think it is a lot of fun that way. So with that said, hope you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time. This has been Fuse Man, and I'm signing out.